Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Well, I wanted to bring you along, just like the video I did showing that new 11 shank Krause disc chisel. Wanted to do one here on the DMI V-Ripper. Both came from the same neighbor, and so this here is what we got. I can tell you one thing, it's a big old heavy outfit, I can tell you that much right now. But yeah, 7 shank, got them big old winged points, and it's also got disc blades here on the front end that are hydraulic. You can lift them up and down. So today is actually Monday. And this past Saturday, my dad and I went out here in our old wheat field, and I probably only went about 400 feet starting and stopping, trying to get depth set and that kind of stuff. Well, before I could do much testing out with trying out the disc blades, we had some rain move in and stop us. But we got our depth pretty much set where we wanted, and I got a 1/4 inch cylinder stop right here. It did have a 1 inch when we got it, and we tried it, and it was running at about I think about 12 inches on the yardstick. And so by swapping out the 1 inch for a 1/4 inch stop, now it's got it running down to about 15 to 16 inches on the depth, which is where we wanted at. And so I remember my neighbor using this because his one field borders ours, and I remember him using this here several years ago. And he said, "You drop them big disc blades down." I think they're a 24-inch blade, if I remember right. Let's go back up here. And this thing's long too. You gotta make a big turn on the end to get turned around. But he said you can basically almost like plow the field because it's like an offset disc. So you got them big blades, and of course each blade is individually hung. It's got its own bearing, own carrier, everything. And I know he's told me that DMI was well known for making things super heavy, and this thing is. But yeah, so I'm going to bring y'all along, and like I said, I've already made a little bit of a stripe out there testing out just the ripper part, which is main thing that we're going to use. As far as these disc blades, probably won't really use them a whole lot, mainly because we don't want to get the ground so bare that the sand just blows away. But this here is the front lift tube. Right there's the cylinder, and that's what lifts the disc gang up and down independently of the main frame. So here's your main frame, and it pivots up and down, as you can kind of see down through there. So this part here moves. That main frame right there does not move. And so yeah, in fact, let me know in the comments if anybody out there has one of these things. But it's built like a big tank, I can tell you that much. I know my neighbor told me, and I could tell it when I tested it. He said just pulling the 7 shank ripper, he said didn't really pull too bad. He said you drop them disc blades down, the old tractor knew it was back there. And so we're going to go out and try it here. So come along, let's go do some scratching. I'm going to grab my drone, that way you can get some overhead view as well. I don't know if I showed you or not, but along with the wings there of the disc blades that fold up, each outside ripper shank folds up as well. And so yeah, you can kind of see it you can see them coming up right there. Maybe kind of tricky looking through the camera. Okay, there the right side came up, but now the disc blade part is actually wider than the ripper shank part is, and so I'm not sure why. You would think it would all be the same width, Okay, there we go. Okay, yeah, now you can see that right hand ripper shank going back down. And then when you those wing sections activate along with the disc wing sections. It's all tied together, and so that we just you need 3 remotes, one for the up and down, one for the wings, and then number 3 to lift your disc gangs up and down independently. So we'll go out here in the field now. We'll see what happens. Let's go ahead and get the disc wings put out there. There we go. There's a front row of blades and a back row of blades. Alright, and like I say, you would have thought they would have, a DMI would have actually made the bladed part the same width as the ripper shanks, but it looks like it's actually one back blade wider either way. And so kind of odd how they did that. Okay, not too sure if not too sure how well you can see that on the camera, but you see those blades going up and down independently. But there's cylinder stops in that cylinder. I want to take and pop a few of them out of there. Alrighty, there we go. I'll pop that right there. I'm not exactly sure how many to take out. Got a little bit of an oil leak also. Coming out of that cylinder. Well, we'll pop out those 2, or oh, that was busted. Well, that was broke also. Okay, well, we'll see what happens. Well, now let's see what happens here with those disc blades. Alright, now there we go. You can see how they're going up and down like that. Back up. Well, that'll definitely make them bite in, I can tell you that right now. Wow. I'm not going to be going very fast, so we'll just poke along here and see what happens. Alright, the ripper shanks are going in the ground. And now let's see about the disc blades dropping down. Oh yeah, that made the old tractor pull. And I'm not going very fast. I see what my neighbor said about being able to basically plow with the thing. He was right. Okay, get a little more speed up. Well, it definitely turns the dirt. Huh. Okay, I want to do a little more work on the depth control. Well, it definitely works the ground up, I can tell you that right now. Like I said, front end disc setup's like an offset disc. So here's what it's looking like. Of course, we got all this wheat straw, and so that does make a big difference. But still, not too bad. But like I say, in our good old sandy ground, we're not going to be using those disc blades at all, because you don't want it all so bare and everything, and the wind just comes along and just blows the dirt like crazy. Like, look, it'll make it look like the Dust Bowl out here. But well, at least here in this wheat straw I can make a few test runs and see how things work. So I'm going to sit you up here and see if I can get an outside shot. right, guys, well, as you saw there on the drone, this thing definitely rolls the dirt. These old disc blades are just like an offset disc. They definitely throw dirt good, and definitely does a good job on that old wheat straw and them old lamb's quarter. Here in time, I'm gonna get the disc out here and disc this down, but figure out this is a good time to get out here and just test this thing out. And oh yeah, with those disc blades down, this thing definitely pulls. The old tractor knows it. However, I'm definitely glad I got those exhaust manifold gaskets fixed. That way the tractor's not losing boost pressure on both piston number 1 and 4. So that gives it some more power. But yeah, this old blue though definitely makes all 305 horses do a little work. But other than that though, I like the job it does, so I think we'll be happy with it. Well, hey, I'm gonna call this in the video, so take care. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the drone footage. We'll see you next time.